In this video, you're going to get a summary of the book Drive by Daniel Pink. It's a phenomenal book on motivation, on how to get yourself motivated, how to motivate others. It's a deep dive into motivation as a whole. I think you're gonna love it, so let's do it. Much of what we know about motivation is wrong, or at the very least, highly outdated. Just look around for a second. At work, at school, and even at home, most motivation methods are based on some variation of the carrot and stick. If you do well, you get a reward. If you don't do well, you get some sort of a punishment. Most companies, at least the bigger ones, operate based on it. You perform a task faster or better, you get a bonus at the end of the year or a promotion. If you don't perform according to expectations, you might get demoted or even fired. Education is largely based on the same principle. You do good, you get a good grade. You don't do as good, you get a bad one. And even young kids are brought up with this similar motivation framework of if this, then that. You eat your veggies, you get a toy. You misbehave, you get something taken away. It's always the same carrot or stick. And while the carrot and stick does work, it was created for a very different era and totally different circumstances. It worked quite well in an era of industrialization when it was easy to measure what gets done and how fast. But this is no longer the case. Plus, research has shown that there are far superior methods of getting someone motivated. So let's dig into the surprising truth of what motivates us, as the author calls it, and a more complete motivation model suitable for the 21st century. There are generally two types of motivation: extrinsic or external, more money, a better grade, more TV time, and so on. And while extrinsic motivators do work, they usually do so in the short term only. They can even have a negative holistic effect. As people concentrate on the reward, for example, it decreases their creativity. It also encourages people to cheat and exploit an incentive-based system. But most of all, people get used to extrinsic motivators pretty fast. If the motivator is taken away, the behavior stops. On the other side of the coin, we have the second type of motivation, intrinsic or internal. Things like satisfaction of a job well done, a sense of accomplishment, purpose, pride, belonging. It is the desire to do something for the internal satisfaction of it. Just think of a child playing with a toy. They're usually not paid to do it. Their own curiosity and enjoyment is enough. Intrinsic motivation and how to use it is what most of the Drive book is dedicated on, so let's dig deeper into it. There are three components to intrinsic motivation. First is autonomy, having a choice in what you do and being self-driven. When people are given freedom over the 4 T's, the results can be phenomenal. Freedom over tasks, time, technique, and team. You hear a lot about this type of autonomy in tech companies such as Google and Facebook, which allow their employees to dedicate a certain portion of their working hours to whatever project they want, of course within some sort of a limit. This is, for example, how Gmail and Google Maps first started. They were somebody's side project that later became a mainstream one. People are naturally wired to be self-driven. When they're allowed to choose what they work on, when they work on it, how they accomplish it, and who they work with, they perform much better due to the sense of autonomy. The second component is called mastery, wanting to get more skilled and to be recognized for your competency. One of the best ways to get better at something is to make use of a principle called deliberate practice. It starts off by doing challenging tasks that are just at the limit of your ability, but not so hard that you would certainly fail. Add to that, setting clear goals for yourself. Sprinkle a bit of fast feedback on how you're doing and what you can improve, and at the end, mixing the final ingredient of consistency in all of the above. And you have a magnificent dish called mastery that will ensure you keep on getting better and better at your chosen skill. And this is why regular and meaningful performance reviews are vital in most companies. If management can ensure that every employee is tasked with a task that is not too easy for them, leading to boredom, and not too unattainably hard, leading to stress, the company blossoms. The author calls these tasks Goldilocks tasks. They're not too hard, they're not too easy, they're just right to ensure that you're getting better without getting stressed. And of course, you can do your own performance review and set your own Goldilocks as long as you try to be as objective as possible. And the third and final component of intrinsic motivation is purpose. Having a higher purpose, or at the very least understanding the common purpose and the impact your work has, can be quite motivating on its own. This is why I see so many people trade higher paying jobs for ones that have a greater impact. This is how organizations such as Doctors Without Borders exists, where some of the most skilled and highly paid medical professionals end up in the most remote places in the world. And it's certainly not for the money, it's for the purpose, it's for the impact their work is going to have. When you set your own or your company's values to deeper ideals and you clearly explain why something needs to be done, motivation blossoms. And there you have it, the three legs that hold the intrinsic motivation stool together: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. If you can create an environment built around that at work, at school, at home, and most of all for yourself, you'll go much faster, much further, and much easier than you could with something as outdated as an extrinsic carrot and stick methodology. Now let's see how you can start making use of these principles to explode your motivation starting today.
Hey, welcome back. So that was Daniel Pink in the book Drive. It's a phenomenal book on motivation. Now, how do we put this to use for you? There's autonomy, there's purpose, there's mastery, and what I think, my biggest takeaway, what I think is the best thing to concentrate on is the mastery part. Because as you become more skillful at whatever your chosen field is, it also drives your purpose, it drives your autonomy as well. So if you concentrate on one thing, concentrate at getting better at your chosen field. Imagine you're a doctor and you can do something trivial, something that a million other doctors can do. That's not gonna really play into your purpose because anybody can do this. But as you put in the time, as you put in the effort to become better, to become more specialized, all of a sudden maybe you become a surgeon that can perform a specialized task that only 100 people can do or nobody else can do. That's gonna drive your purpose. Because now you can have a greater impact, you have a more unique impact, so it's gonna play on the purpose side. But also because you're so highly specialized and highly skilled, it's gonna drive the autonomy. Now you can change jobs, you can demand a higher salary, you have more choices because you're more of a master in your chosen field. So mastery is what I think drives autonomy and the purpose. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a day every week so you can dedicate some time to getting better at your craft. Whatever your craft might be, whether you play sports, whether you're a business professional, whatever it might be, I want you to dedicate time in which you're gonna learn, you're gonna practice, you're gonna get better. Not just doing the task, because that's what you do probably the rest of the week, but actually getting better. You know, if you're playing basketball, it's not only playing the game, you gotta get a better jump shot, you gotta get better dribble skills. You know, if you're a salesperson, you gotta get better at communication, you gotta have better pitch. So I want you to dedicate some time each and every week towards your craft, towards the deliberate practice of getting better, getting more skillful, and then set the bar high enough so it's actually challenging, it pushes you to challenge yourself, but not too high so you actually set yourself up for fail. That's what's called deliberate practice. Getting better at a specific task, setting the bar high, and doing it consistently. As you grow your mastery, it's gonna play into your purpose, it's gonna play into your autonomy, and you're gonna drive yourself, you're gonna motivate yourself for life. This was my take on Daniel Pink and the book Drive. Now I pass on the question to you. What do you think? What do you think about intrinsic, extrinsic motivation? What do you think about the book? What do you think about this video overall? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want more videos such as this one, reviewing some of the best books in motivation, in self-help, in business, in how to grow habits, and how to be a better and more happy person, click on the link below, join the family. Subscribe today, join us, have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.